Okie dokie. It's been a minute. It's been a while. It's been actually 5 seasons of NGS since I last sat in this blue box of mine. But I'm back, and more importantly, got a game. And tonight, our entertainment of choice is two teams that I have seen play, even been a part of one of them. No bias, promise. Over many seasons. Those teams are gillyShark at Bingo Night. That bingo command will work in my chat, by the way. Exclamation point bingo. And our other team is under Newb Management. Lots of familiar names on both of those teams for those of you who have been around Division A or so for the past, few years. Let's go ahead and look a little bit at some stats. So looking at these teams, right now UNM is sitting joint number 1 within the division. We can actually look at that too. Oh, that's the wrong one. Like I said, first cast back. It's been a while. Here's the button. Alright, I found it. Joint number 1 with the High Inquisitors. They have won all 3 of their sets so far. So they're 3-0 in sets, 6-1 in map score, so only dropping 1 map so far. And that is the same for gillyShark. Or not for gillyShark, for the other team currently at number 1, High Inquisitors. So that is why we got a joint first place there. 3 weeks into the season, gillyShark had a bye first week, so they have only played 2, but they're 2-0, 4-0 map score, so starting off their season quite well. They're probably pretty happy with that. Matchup history, though, pretty interesting between these two teams in that UNM, under Newb Management, has won every single matchup between these two teams so far. 4-0, 9-3 in maps in map score. They're saying we won at Outpost, right? In the chat here in the lobby, which I guess is a little bit of a spoiler, which maybe you already caught this earlier. We do have our first map here. It is Braxis Holdout. Map that I love the aesthetic of, I love the idea of, but I hate playing. I'll do my best to cast it here. And that map was picked by UNM. They lost the coin flip to gillyShark, who are the home team tonight. gillyShark went ahead and banned out Battlefield of Eternity and Cursed Hollow. Sorry, that's Towers of Doom. I told you, man, I'm a little bit out of it. It's my first time in a while. Cursed Hollow was banned by our red team under Newb Management. They also banned Dragonshire. So macro maps banned from UNM. That has been a lot of what gillyShark has been playing this season. It's also a lot, actually, of what UNM has been playing. But they are, in the past, I would say they were known, at least to me, more for their team fighting, which is why I think we're seeing some Braxis tonight for our first game of the night, as soon as we get everyone into this here lobby. So, looking at Braxis Holdout, it's split, so it's interesting because it is a team fight heavy map, in that you pretty much have a brawl 4v4 going on in the bot lane, or that's the way some people choose to play it. You also sometimes see the 1-3-1 split, or other variations where really Praxis is just all about fluid rotation. It's all about moving around the map better than your opponent. That's why you see a lot of heroes like Muradin, Alstad, Genji, of course, prioritized highly on this map. Genji, of course, also very good at shredding the boss. Not bad at the Zerg wave either, just deflect gets so much value on this map. So that's something we might be looking at. I will admit I'm a little bit unfamiliar with the hero pools. It's been a little while. I forgot to do my research because I was so busy refamiliarizing myself with all of the caster stuff here. So when we go ahead and get in, we're going to see what these teams go for. Are they going to look for just sustained damage, sustained healing on the bot point and a strong top laner to win that? Are we going to see globals coming in to try and work around the rotations more? Yeah, that's really going to be the name of the game, is just, getting control of the 2 points, getting control of the camps might be a priority. That's one way to apply pressure. All kinds of things, but I certainly expect we're going to see some crazy team fights here from under Newb Management, and maybe some weird macro stuff from gillyShark. That is, I think, been their bread and butter this season so far, playing a lot of globals. Um, and you know what? While we have a little time here waiting for these teams to say R, let me go ahead and look at what UNM has been playing this season. Well, hey, I see one hero that's already familiar. Silvers. Li Ming likes to go Seeker. It's a bit of a specialty of theirs. That might be part of why that BOE ban is in there, because that is definitely something that we have seen in the past. They love going for that Seeker, and they're pretty good at it. I won't lie. Let's see. Liddell on the tank, of course, known for his Garrosh when I played against him. Looks like he has played a Garrosh game this season, but mostly playing Johanna, and I mean, for the blow-up, gotta tell them I'm R. For the blow-up, for quick, decisive picks, which is something that I have seen UNM play around, that's a great tank choice. That's always going to work out pretty well for you. Bless Shields, obviously you don't get it until level 10, but once it comes online, it's nice and easy. Very, very easy thing to communicate to your team, and pretty easy to follow up on as well. So, not though as good of a tank on this map, so I would expect them maybe to go for that Garrosh, as we're going to go ahead and get into the draft. I'll figure out the buttons by the end of the cast, eventually. So on our left team here, first pick is going to be for gillyShark. And Braxis is an interesting map because some teams actually really like it because when you pick Braxis, since you had the map pick, you get second pick. And this is one of those maps where sometimes people like to pick a weird fifth hero, and so having that last pick can be helpful. So that might be something we look for from UNM. As for gillyShark, I mean, they're gillyShark. Nothing's out of the cards, but they've been playing around globals a lot lately, so we might see, you know, Dahaka, Falstad just bully the top lane. Make sure you pick something in the 4-man down bot that can play from the gate, you know, like a Gul'dan or a Chromie, just clear waves, stay safe, stop them from pushing. Junkrat, also excellent at that and excellent at point control. But looking at the bans so far, I mean, Johanna banned, like I said, 5 of the 7 games for UNM so far this season. So that's going to go out. The Dahaka and Falstad ban, so UNM doesn't want any globals in this game. So at least I can say that my knowledge of gillyShark was pretty good there. And the Chromie ban, so, you know, really good at following up for picks, which is you know, a style that UNM likes, and also just good at clearing, very just good all-around hero. Speaking of good all-around heroes, Diablo, one of the best tanks in the game at the moment, has been for a long time. Once you get full souls, if the other team doesn't, you know, have the right tools, it can be impossible to kill Diablo. So we'll go ahead and see what else we have here, since one thing I will note about Diablo and Braxis is that it does struggle a bit early game. You don't have those souls, you don't have as much self-sustain, and you're playing against a Garrosh Tychus. That's pretty much the nightmare matchup for a Diablo early pick. Ooh! And so the response is going to be Globe Gang. So for those who do not know what the Globe Gang is, it's pretty effective on this map thanks to the globe generator at the bottom of the map. If you're able to control that, you get Alexstrasza, her level 1 quest. She, I believe, needs 15 globes to finish that, and then her Circle of Life will spawn a globe. Diablo has a level 1 that lets him get bonus healing from fountains and globes based on how many souls he has. So at that point, you can just have insane healing over time. Mephisto has a similar talent that gives him bonus healing from globes, but more importantly, gives him CDR from globes, which is disgusting. Mephisto, already a disgusting hero in the 4v4, so easy to get CDR and just do tons of damage. He's a poke hero, he's a burst hero, he's a sustained damage. He's insane. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at what was banned here. Junkrat banned under Newb Management. That's, I mean, I talked about it a bit earlier. That's just a really solid point control hero, really solid anti-push hero. There's so much that he does well, especially on this map. And then the Anduin ban, you know, a safe healer. Light Bomb is great for engages, and the Pole, great for disengages. Stukov Jaina, I mean, that it's all in on the single target blow up. I feel like the best caster ever, because I totally... Well, I guess I called what was going to be banned against gillyShark, and I called what UNM is going to do. But we're going to see Raynor, so focusing on macro for gillyShark, and Rexar, very strong top lane, especially, you know, now that you've seen the entire 4-man, you know there isn't really a ganker there. You know, Garrosh or Jaina maybe can come around if they go through the middle and loop around onto your own side of the map. But there aren't many threats there for Rexar. He can just leave Misha on the point and be happy against almost anyone. And so they're going to go ahead and pick a third ranged assassin on the side of UNM. Something a little bit spicy. You love to see it. Try and put the Hydralisk, some of those Banelings, Roaches onto the Rexar. Because you don't need to kill the Misha if you kill the Rexar. Pretty fun first game. We got a little bit of spice from both sides. That's what I like to see. Oh man. Alright. And with that, we're going to go ahead and head into our Nexus holdout as soon as we load in here. Let's see, so going in, one thing I would note, not the best wave clear on the side of gillyShark at Bingo Night. If they don't have something there to give Mephisto CDR, like the globes, will help. They're going to struggle a little bit in clearing the Zerg wave. Raynor does have good single target PvE, but his AoE PvE does struggle a little bit. On the other side, Garrosh might be a little bit lonely on that front line once, you know, the game scales a little bit and the red team's damage, blue team's, sorry, forgive me, damage starts to scale a little bit. But we're going to go ahead and jump on into game number 1 here. On our left team, we have Chess Looter playing the Rexar. So, oh, where is he? He's right here. We got Stark playing the Raynor, Iron on the Alexstrasza, Schumann on Diablo, and Ekib on Mephisto.
10 seconds.
On the right, we got Liddell on his infamous Garrosh. Chromage on Zagara. Up in the top lane, gonna spawn some creep, try and bring in some extra babies. And then we got Gloomy on Jaina, Silver on Tychus, and Alan by default on Stukov. So early on, I would expect kind of passive play from gillyShark. This is a really scary early game for man, and I think we're about to see some of that. Human does have the charge out until level 4 to try and save himself, but you can see just how much health he loses every time he eats that throw. That being said, they did trade a lot of damage onto Liddell on the Garrosh, and Ekib, thanks to the Shade, can do damage pretty safely to Garrosh, as long as he doesn't, you know, get thrown and die before he shades back. Already, we see that priority onto the globes. Alex already at 2. That's going to be 3. Liddell, ooh, not going to get the throw because he's in the minion wave. That's going to be some solid damage. Let's check in on the top lane with Chromage for the moment. Just chilling. Chess Looter not going to have a great talent to deal with that creep until a little bit later in the game when he can set his dog on fire. Toasty. Not the most friendly way of clearing creep, but, you know, if it works. And like I said, macro play, name of the game for gillyShark. They're going straight for both camps. They're going to lose control of the bottom point, but they're pretty happy with that for the moment because I imagine they're quite confident Zagara isn't going to step up. And if she did, they have everyone local to take care of that. But as I say that, I miss the first blood. Good pop from the Stukov there to save Silver from dying from the counter engage. But looks like they got a throw onto Diablo. And that's going to be, unfortunately, that's just going to be how it is for Shu in this game. He's going to have to play very carefully around that. And, ooh, keeping the plane carefully. Iron going to get caught out. Ooh, nice Dragon Queen to save himself. And now, with a huge, see, that's, I talk about Jimmy not doing that much damage early, but he's sneaky. Jimmy does do sneaky damage, and Stukov gets caught retreating, and that's going to be the channel starting for gillyShark here. Under Newb Management, not too worried about it. I imagine the nice thing about having 3 DPS is even if they lose this early Zerg wave, they're going to be able to clear it very effectively. But for the moment, it looks like they're just gonna hunker up in their bunker and wait for Stukov to come on back so they can reclaim this bottom point. Go ahead and take a look at the talents here so far, as we do have this first Zerg wave coming in. Got body checks, so we're going to assist in preventing burst healing, like from Alex's ult if she decides to go Lifebinder. Very good at helping get that pick with the throw. Alright, Zerg wave coming on in, and that's going to be the front wall down. We'll see how much they get from the fort. Rexar is staying top, and this might be a little bit difficult. No, he does get the Ultralisk with the help of the towers there, so I'm going to be happy in top lane. And, you know, actually, I'm going to admit I'm a little bit surprised. The Mephisto pressure early on has been enough, and that's going to be a very early first objective and fort for gillyShark. Just about the best start you can hope for, getting it even before they finish the Globe Quest. So now we are going to go ahead and see them coming up into top lane. Zag wisely hiding behind the towers. And that being said, I think the important thing for... Oh no, Schumann! Alright, you know what? It happens. It happens to the best of us. I think anyone who's played Diablo, or Kerrigan, probably some Muradins and Tyraels as well. You know what? Even a Valera. They've all done that. Everyone's jumped a wall every once in a while, get a little bit excited. Good news is, he's not going to lose any souls for it. And as I was saying earlier, the good news for Newb Management is that XP is even. It's not completely snowballed out of control. There aren't, I mean, there are gankers in the form of mostly Diablo and Mephisto here on the red. Colors are hard, man. On the blue team. But they're not going to be able to do too much with the creep if it's well placed out. And Chest Looter wisely retreating here. But the point being, Zagara's going to be able to stay mostly safe in the off lane, just try and scale up. And we can see even talent tiers getting closer to level 10, getting some power spikes. Get UNM another chance as they're going for another combo there. Anti-heal, Tychus's minigun, of course, doing lots, and it's going to force out the Dragon Queen. That's something that you can be really happy goes down here, because that is a very important tool for gillyShark. But it is also going to secure them the front wall of the fort, so they can't be too upset. And that's one of the nice things about Raynor, and I think probably another part of why we saw him aside from macro. Ooh, as even with the penetrating rounds, Schumann forced to eat the throw to save the rest of his team, and he is going to go down again. So, like I said, Garrosh struggles a little bit into the Raynor. The slow from the trait on the auto, every fourth auto, as well as the penetrating round are great tools to stop a mounted Garrosh from getting on top of you. But sometimes, you know, you save one person from Garrosh, but that just means he finds another. And so we are going to see Schumann having gone down twice so far. Oh, 3 times. Look, my counting isn't all that either. Like I said, first time. Alright, we're going to have our first big fight here over the second objective. Schumann taking a lot of damage, has some heal over time from the globe, but again, just so difficult against this pick comp that is built by Newb Management. And now we're going to see Garrosh coming down to help out Zagara. He's just going to cap the point since Chest Looter is already out of there, and that's going to be the first percentage channel for Newb Management. See what else they can get done as I was talking over them invading this bruiser camp, which, you know, didn't get too much, but they've got a good portion of the front wall here. Oh, missed the flame buffet on Liddell, and he's going to get the throw onto the healer. No Dragon Queen to save Iron this time, but with the Lifebinder, he's going to be just fine. And ults coming out left, right, and center from gillyShark here. Great Durance. going to secure them to kill onto Garrosh. It's a hard game to be a tank in. Garrosh constantly getting slowed, knocked back by Raynor, Alex, Human, playing Diablo against Garrosh Tychus. And now we've got the blue team channeling, and it looks like they might be able to get it, as, you know what, let's talk a little bit about the ults that we saw. We've got Borzin, we've got the Raider, we've got Lifebinder, Lightning Breath, gonna give a very important unstoppable for Schumann. Has another great Shadow Charge out there. That is possible because we see Thirst for Battle from Liddell, so opting for more sustainability instead of the unstoppable to potentially deny the Shadow Charge out there. So every time you see a Schumann Shadow Charge out, keep that in mind. That being said, every time you see Liddell survive a fight, also keep that in mind. And, you know, it looks like we've got a bit of a bruiser survivable build here for Liddell as the push coming in the top lane. We've also got Draken the Laser Drill for Tychus. So Tychus says, you know what, I need to have my minigun available to kill people. I'm gonna just take a drill. And there's that Durance coming out again. Gonna be a nice push here, but also, you know, not too bad of a defense for the side of UNM. They're gonna go ahead and clear out after losing their fort and keep wall. Ooh, and we've got a 3-man mob. Follow up with the silence, decimate. Stark getting low. Iron also caught, uses the Lifebinder. That might actually heal Stark more than it heals him, as we did see the body check come in. That's gonna be a kill on the healer. Let's see what UNM takes for it. It looks like they're going straight for the boss. Only 20 seconds until Iron's back, and so they are going to reevaluate here. They're going to go for a siege camp invade, but we have a dog in a bush watching out. They're just going to play it safe, though. No healer. Siege camp, not worth fighting over in a risky situation like that. And so UNM gets a little something, mostly just to deny. And they're going to be a level down from that structure XP, the passive coming in with that. In fact, you know what? We can break down the XP. Part of it is going to be the minion experience, it looks like. 3k more for the side of gillyShark at Bingo Knight. Part of that is probably the Rexar being able to deny soak to the Zagara, as we see 1,000 soak difference there. But then, of course, you've also got the structure and passive experience, which have, you know, let them get a little bit ahead, but not too much. We've got 13s in here shortly for both teams. Looking again at talents, nothing too exciting. We got Blizzard builds coming in for Jaina, so prioritizing macro here. I don't hate it. Also got Q build coming in for Tychus. So really, they've just got huge AoEs all over the place. You know, that could be really frustrating for an Alex to deal with, since all that random damage gets her health down. Now she's having a hard time healing with her Qs. She, you know, wants to be able to put her W somewhere where it can heal multiple people, but her team's going to have to split up to deal with those AoEs. And of course, coming shortly at 16, we're going to have the machine guns for Chromage's minions here, getting in the percent damage. For the moment, it looks like UNM, they realize, okay, teamfight time didn't go in great for us, so we're just going to see if we can find someone in the offlane. Chess Leader playing very safe, and he has lit his dog on fire with the Wildfire Bear. So that's going to allow him to clear out creep much easier now. And it looks like we're going to see our first 5v5 team fight of the night, as Liddell going to beat the Durance but be able to walk out, and a huge maw onto both the damage. Schumann going to have to go in to try and save him. Take a ton of damage. Will save his DPS, which is super important, but Soul's down. Now, 25 Soul Diablo against the Garrosh, Tychus, Zagara, and Jaina, and Stukov? Like, all 5 of those heroes you don't want to play against as a Diablo. So we're going to see the channel here, and we do have 5 heroes again. That is the nice thing about losing your souls. You're back immediately. Sometimes I wish you weren't back immediately so that you could keep your souls. But going to be enough for blue team to halt the channel here, and we're going to have another 5v5. Looking at the ults, mostly up for the side of gillyShark, as we're going to have another Durance onto Liddell. Again, he's eating these and living so well. But just that spread damage from the Mephisto is so much. He's so hard to beat in a 5v5, and it's going to be enough to push back the red team, who, you know, needed to get Cigar up here to clear Newb. Level 16 just around the corner for gillyShark at Bingo Night. That's probably the biggest thing right now that they're going to play for. With that 16 advantage, they're going to hope to... ooh! Big throw onto Schumann. He's going to have the Shadow Charge out, but... the slow, the anti-heal is enough, and he goes down again. This time, full death timer. And that is gonna be enough. Ooh, especially with this slow. They found Chest Looter. Oh, almost thought he got out with a big stun there from Misha. But that's both the front line down and a pause for under Newb Management, as we have Stukov PC'd. Are we gonna see a pause? No, he's back. No worries. So we've got a boss, we got a camp. gillyShark, knowing that the boss is being taken, gonna do what they can to just stall stuff out a little bit longer, buy them some time to clear. We do a very good clear on the boss, thanks to Raynor with his level 1 Exterminator. But it's looking like we're gonna see the first objective win of the game for under Newb Management. See what they can do for it here in the top lane. The wall is already gonna be open, so I think this fort is pretty much a bygone conclusion. Especially as we're going to see these camps come in. The armor reduction that they do on buildings is part of what makes them very powerful. And then, of course, you have the Knolls on Ultra Pass, which is the same except 3 of them and on a lower cooldown. And they're not even going to make it to the building anyway, so don't pay attention to what I say. Alright. We're going to see Schumann trying to protect his backline again. Gonna get caught out. Lifebinder not able to do much because of the Maw, and that is a huge triple kill. Beautiful combo. These Maws from Chromage all game have pretty much turned it around for under Newb Management. Now, they might be looking to end. 30 seconds on the majority of our blue team here. And a strong Zerg wave. This might be the 1-0 in our series. Chromage. Do they realize? Oh man, so low on the Zagara there. That's a little risky. They do have the pop from Stukov. The boars come out. gillyShark doing as much as they can. Really nice shove just to force Raynor away. And I think we're going to go ahead and see game 1 going over to the side of under Newb Management. What a turnaround. Oh man. You do not expect to see that. I mean, it is not very common to see a Garrosh comp really struggle early, but then do so much better in the mid and late game. I mean, it really was just mid game. The late game there was not reached. Level 17 for each team, so we did see those talents coming in. Big power spikes like Static Field. Debilitating Flames is very nice, but really the biggest 16s I think are on the side of our red team. Oh, and we actually didn't see Q-Build. We saw Sizzling Attacks and Corrosive Saliva doubling up on the percent damage there. And that, I mean, you saw how rough that game was for Schumann on the Diablo. Alright, and taking a look back at the stats, about what you would expect. Lots of hero damage for the Tychus, just constantly, you know, if he's pressing his trait on Diablo every few seconds, even though Alex is able to heal it up so much thanks to the Circle of Life with the Devil's Due, it's so much damage that Tychus puts out. You know, percent damage heroes kill everyone equally well. And Diablo 7 deaths definitely felt that. So it'll be interesting to see where we go for that. As I press the wrong button. Yeah. Game 2. We'll figure out what the map is for that shortly. It is going to be first pick for gillyShark at Bingo Night. So under Newb Management, we'll have the chance to pick another map. Dragonshire, they actually banned. I was going to say that's probably the closest thing to Braxis. But we might see another rotational map that lets them play that kind of style. Tomb of the Spider Queen can do that. Very rotational map. Someone just... I have no idea who this person is. Oh, it's someone Smurf. I don't know who's getting invited to parties in the middle of a cast. But yeah, Tomb of the Spider Queen, I would say, is probably the closest to Braxis in terms of being a very rotational map. Wave clear is important, but macro itself is not necessarily the most complicated. It's more about controlling the 2 points once again. The other maps remaining, I mean, Skya maybe, but we're starting to get more into maps that, you know, there's going to have to be some bigger macro stuff. You can't just draft for picks and rotations or team fighting, which, again, another thing surprising that you don't see that often. The Garrosh team winning team fights, but losing when going for picks. It's a very interesting dynamic between these two teams, just from the first game already. Just waiting for our map decision here. Nothing yet. So yeah, I mean, let's see here what UNM has gone for the past couple seasons. Let's take a look at last season. I believe UNM was in Div A last season as well. And last season, maps they went to a lot. Oh my, they were all over the place. But Tomb and Towers were their most played maps last season. So, just saying, if we see Tomb, I might be, I might be the best caster in the world ever, as it is gonna be Tomb of the Spider Queen. Alright, so Tomb of the Spider Queen, another very rotational map. This time, there's no ifs and or buts about it. Wave clear is a must-have. In my opinion, you need at least 3 good wave clear. You need at least 2. You will just kind of lose the game if you don't have 2 wave clear heroes. But in my opinion, I think you want at least 3 heroes who can maybe not nuke a wave, but clear a wave pretty efficiently. You know, whether that's bringing in a Rhaegar for your healing slot. Johanna, of course, very high priority, very likely to see that banned if it isn't first picked by gillyShark. Offlaner, obviously, normally one of your wave clear heroes, but you know, it can be that you just pick 2 wave clear DPS. You know, there are sustained damage heroes, your Sylvanas, your Greymane, who do bring that wave clear as well. Another good Junkrat map, might see it. Very good point control again. I mean, Junkrat's just kind of good everywhere if you're good with Junkrat. Oh, that being said, we've had some spice so far with the Globe Gang and the offlane Zagara. What spice might we see on this map? It's a small map, so rotations aren't that hard, so Sergeant Hammer is an option. Not her best map at all, since there's a lot of hallways that you know, can't peek through because of the plethora of bushes. We might still see globals entirely banned out or prioritized on this map, because that rotation to, you know, the bottom siege or flying during the objective, very, very strong. I love Dahaka on this map. There's so many bushes for him to play around there. What else? Maybe we're about to see, as I think everyone is ready, and we are going to jump into the draft here for our second game on Tomb. So looking at bans, I wouldn't be surprised if they're very similar. Johanna ban, Dahaka ban, maybe the Falstad ban again. What was our other ban? I don't know. Yeah, I can't say what. I mean, 3 out of 4. That's not bad. And it is going to be the Joe ban right off the bat. No big surprise. Preferred hero for UNM. This, by the way, another very good Garrosh map. I have been destroyed by Liddell's Garrosh on this map before. He knows how to play around the corners, not even just the bushes. There's, with those turn-ins, lots of walls that obscure the vision until you turn the corner or get to the corner, and Garrosh will be standing there ready to throw you. Lucio, gonna be the ban here. That's something you want to ban if you want to stop the other team from rotating safely and being very, very unstoppable. Another annoying hero for Garrosh, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see that banned here. And no, it's going to be the Anduin. So they're getting rid of the light bomb, they're getting rid of the pull. Yeah, he's just like a hero that impacts the game in so many ways. I think he takes the difficulty of execution down a lot for any team he's on. If you've got a good Anduin player, so good at saving heroes, gives you a very strong, pretty easy to use engage tool. And we're going to see the Stitches ban. Pretty fair as a response to the Anduin. I've seen Stitches from gillyShark before. There's going to be the Dahaka I was talking about. Global prioritization gillyShark at Bingo Night. And I like that. I mean, they were playing very well on Braxis. They kind of just had a couple team fights in a row. Really didn't go their way at crucial times. That's how Braxis is. Tomb can be that way, but not so much. It's not as much of a snowballing map as long as you have good enough wave clear. You might, lose a keep early, but that just pushes more gems into you. Puts the gems where the other team can't get them. We're going to see some pick heroes from both sides. Stukov for gillyShark at Bingo Night. They're going to put that with the Junkrat that I talked about. Good for so many reasons. Clears waves very well. Controls bushes very well. Disengages very well. Gives vision on points like the turn-ins very well. Pokes the turn-ins very well. And then, like I said, the ETC Chromie slide into Chromie damage. Chromie can follow up pretty much wherever thanks to the Dragon's Breath. That's a really nice thing. And they're going to go ahead and ban the Diablo. They say, okay, Chromie's mostly spell damage. If they pick Diablo now, we're going to have a hard time killing that. And I think that's fair. Diablo also, little known fact, well, maybe it's not so little known these days, but has a 100% consistent mosh interrupt, and I'm not talking about Apocalypse. If you shadow charge into a mosh pit from max range, you walk away a little bit, or just make sure you're standing far enough away that your Q, that max range, you will always interrupt the mosh pit because you're moving so fast by the time that you get into the mosh pit's hitbox that you basically charge him in between the ticks of the stun. Ooh, and it was a bait. As we've got a Newbrak Tychus, the ETC is going to be in the off lane, I assume. So one thing that does immediately show me is that while there's, now a very lethal pick comp once again on the side of under Newb Management, they are a little bit light on wave clear. Tychus can do it, Chromie can do it, but, ETC, not a very good wave clear option. And against the double global now, that's going to be rough. Murden also one of the hardest tanks to blow up. Just very bulky. Can go into the blocks if you want to. They're not as helpful against Tychus, but pretty strong. And Whitemane's going to be the last pick. So UNM saying, okay, you know what? Our macro is not as good. That's fine. We're just going to out-team fight. Whitemane has a ton of healing. And Falstad, Junkrat, they're both pretty damage light early on. So as long as we're not seeing big separation from something like a Concussion Mine or the tank going too far on UNM, they should be a pretty hard unit to be in a team fight. And, from the side of gillyShark at Bingo Night, macro, they've got two globals. They're going to completely bully that ETC in the offlane. He's going to have a hard time. Well, he can talent into a build that will help him against the Dahaka, but it is not the best wave clear build. And I think they need all the wave clear they can get here. We'll see what they go. But Junkrat, Stukov, both great at controlling points. Or controlling the turn-ins, getting the interrupts there from a safe distance. Falstad, Dahaka, going to be rotating all over the place. As we're gonna go ahead and jump on in
Who's next?
to our first game, as we don't have the number updated for some reason.
Stop me if you've heard this one before.
One here, and I will try and fix it live.
Battle begins in 10 seconds.
Alright, not sure why it's like that. Let me just manually set it. Boom. Alright, our left team. Nope, we're starting with right team. Alright, our right team. Liddell on a Newb at Chrome Age on the offlane ETC. Lumi on Chromie. AG, Silver, Silver, Silver on Tychus. Alan by default on the white mate. And actually on our left team. Chess Leader on the Junkrat. Schumann on Muradin. Iron on the Stukov. Stark on the Falstad. Ekib on the Dahaka. For gillyShark. And you know what? I think I know why my button didn't work, but I can't fix it because we've already got a nice engage with the Stormbolt into the weighted Pustule on Liddell. Gonna get healed up by Alan by default though there. Aha! Yes. I know now why. Oh, why is it showing gillyShark is one? Oh, it's because I updated the wrong one. Look. Professional caster. As we're gonna have an engage onto Ekib on the Dahaka in the middle lane. And there we go. Alright. Our numbers are fixed. Oh, alright. First cast back. Okay. We're doing alright. Let's take a look at the level 1s here. We're gonna have the auto build for Falstad with the frequent flyer. Lots of sustained damage. Very good for clearing a boss. Very good for pushing structures. Very good for killing things. Makes sense. We're going to see pretty much everything the usual. Stuff of note, I guess. This Guitar Hero at level 1 going to be very good for ETC to trade 1v1. So he is going to be going into that auto attack build. He'll be able to do a lot of damage to Dahaka and not sustain him. But his wave clear isn't going to be the best. So that's going to be what we're looking at. Is they're going to be trying to bully the Dahaka rather than winning off of the wave clear. Beetle build for Newb, that's going to help them push when they get those advantages. Low blow for Stukov, so definitely prioritizing kills there. Looking to follow up the Muradin Stormbolt or the Junkrat traps. As speaking of Junkrat, this guy won't stop laughing. Dahaka facing some punishment as Chromie comes down to help clear out the Siege Giants that are going to take out most of this bottom tower. And that's, you know, where the global with the Falstad is helping them out. Just getting pressure all over the map. Junkrat, Stukov, now clearing out the Bruiser camp, where UNM still hasn't really had a chance yet to get to any camps. So this is where the macro really pays off. UNM gonna have to use these time traps and other methods available to them. Try to forcify it at some point. They might look for it here in mid. I mean, they're going to have to look for something because that Bruiser camp is pushing in with a wave. So they're going to look onto Iron. He's going to be able to get away just fine. Now, all 5 for UNM coming to clear the mid lane. gillyShark decide not to push with it. They're just going to clear out the waves, keep having that momentum, get some of their gems in. And you can already see, just looking at the gem counts, that gillyShark is having an easier time clearing these waves, picking up the gems, getting free time to turn in gems. Level 4s, we do have Underclean for our Newb, so he's going to be looking to engage heavy. It's really what you see that talent for. Not something you see so much. Ooh, nice dodge from Schumann on both the stuns there. He was probably in trouble otherwise, but Dahaka's going to get the bottom turn in. And here's our first turn in already, only 3-4 minutes in. Silver and Co. on UNM going to be able to clear mid. Your web weavers do spawn where your min. Is it where your min? Yes, they spawn where your minion wave is. I believe. No. Okay, so they spawn where the enemy minion wave is, I think. Look, I know one of them. So between Garden Terror this and this map, On one of them, they spawn where your minion wave is. On one of them, they spawn where the other team is, or something. It's something like that. Anyway, the important thing about that is they lose health as they walk. So you really want to make sure your minion wave is right up to the towers, so that your web weaver, like if you look at this, they're just now starting to hit it, and it's already at half, because it had to walk from over here all the way over here. Or from over here all the way. Oh, so I'm gonna click on a minion. Yeah, so, you know, walking, it's not healthy in Heroes of the Storm. It kills spiders, I guess. Well, maybe that is healthy. I don't know, that's your opinion. But hey, I mean, look at this. This is where the macro pressure comes in super clutch. We've got a level lead for gillyShark. You're gonna get a fort with the first web weaver. That is huge. Front wall, and about a quarter of mid fort with it as well. So another really solid start from gillyShark being a knight. But as we saw in game 1, UNM knows how to take advantage of those mid and late game team fights with the longer death timers. And right now they're just going to look to turn in some of their gems. We got 27 on the tank Liddell. That's something that can be nice, having them on someone who's nice and bulky, not going to get picked out and lose them quite as easily. But at the same time, that's the hardest hero to have turn in, because no one's really able to ward for them. And so it's going to be hard for under Newb Management to get those gems turned in, especially as they're about to be down level 10s. Taking their camp, they're just going to try and bunker down and catch soak at the walls, play safe. You know how it goes. Looking at the Junkrat here, actually, they're down 10s, but looking very aggressive. They're going to force the flailing swipe, so that's really something that they're going to be very happy about. And the cleanse goes out onto the wrong person, and Chromie goes down. Beautiful time from Ekib. Came on up with the brush soccer, maybe? Let me check. Nope, he just walked. He just walked. Use his dino legs in those bushes. I think Falstead might have won. I can check. Nope. Wrong on both counts. Alright. Looking at the gem counts already, I mean, UNM has only gotten 8 gems in since the start of this game. They're just having such a hard time, even with the pressure that, you know, a noob Tychus can put on anyone who steps up. You know, the second they go for a turn, Falstead's in the middle lane hitting the fort. Ekib on the Dahaka in the bottom lane, pushing up waves. They go to respond to that. Now Chess is on the Junkrat, dumping his gems. And that is why having wave clear, having self-sufficient heroes who can rotate is so strong on this map. Even though, you know, the distance between the lanes isn't that much. Those little rotations are so important, and there's so many points of interest. There's 5. 3 lanes, 2 camps. 2 objectives in between the lanes, and I mean there's also camps, so arguably even more, but there is going to be the thing that this team from UNM does very well, and really good timing for them as well. They're going to kill the Murden, they're going to get their gems in at the same time. ETC was not needed for that kill, and that's going to be the first web weavers now for them. Bottom lane, gonna have to walk a ways. But mid and top coming in just about at the enemy team's walls. So, you know, especially with the Beetles here, they're going to look to get some good structure damage. They might even look to dive beyond. You know, Liddell can E past a wall on the noob. Lumi on the Chromie dumps some sand. She doesn't care about walls. Her sand comes from the sky. There's a nice concussion line. Gonna take Liddell out of the fight for a while. But with the Odin popped, looks like we're going to see mid-fort fall. And gillyShark saying, you know what, if we lose mid-fort, that's okay. We have plenty to do. Got bot cleared out, got top cleared out. Other teams, mid-fort's already mostly gone. Ooh, and a very aggressive Gus onto... Ooh, speaking of very aggressive, we got a mosh pit onto 2. Chromage pretty much turns that engage from a disaster where Chromie's in the other team into a one-team fight. They take 2, and that's what UNM is going to look to keep doing, as now they're going to have back-to-back turns. really, really, I mean, there was a lot of good plays on both sides there. The gust to start that off, putting the Chromie out of position. One thing with putting Chromie out of position specifically, she has that time stop, which is called time out at level 11. It's her level 13 talent tier, but it's level 11 that she gets it. And that is like the longest self-stasis in the game. So it just buys her so much time for, you know, the other team groups up waiting for her to come out of that, and boom, there's your mosh setup. So very, very solid here from UNM, and they're gonna get at least one more fort from it. But again, the macro here, mid already cleared, bot not quite gonna get cleared out by Ekeep. He's actually getting pretty low, gonna dodge the boop there from ETC and get away. As we see the rest of UNM rotating down. So looking for all 3 forts. And, you know, with 2 objectives back to back, that's what you hope for, right? You hope to get all the forts, maybe some keep wall damage, which it looks like they are getting a little bit of. Chest Looter cleaning that up. He does have Ripper Air out, so he can be a pseudo-global of his own now. Really help the rotations even beyond. As you see, he got down as quick as the Falstad. And, I mean, bottom fort alive, that's not too bad of a defense from Gilly. They can't be too upset with that. As Liddell, he sees someone, he goes. He says, alright team, this is what we do, we kill, we need to just pull that trigger every time. And they get a gust for it. That's how this kind of comp works. Very well played. And they're going to just go back, looking to get their gems in. Junkrat's going to be annoying. Human on the Murden going to also try to be annoying. Iron on the Stukov also going to try to be annoying. As Falstad is back here doing the Bruiser camp, going to try and get the waves in a better position so that they can get the last few gems in and get their second turn out. As I believe gillyShark... No, gillyShark is behind on gems. Ooh, we got a 5-man onto Ekeeb. Gonna get dropped, and that is 27 gems down the drain. gillyShark gets their turn just as Dahaka dies. He'll be able to global back in once he respawns, but that is unfortunate timing. The Siege Giants in the bottom will help. They'll be able to do some work with that, potentially. But this is mostly just going to be a stopgap of a objective. They're going to have to look for something else here. Unless UNM prioritizing protecting their forts. So we're going to see the keep wall definitely fall here. Human anchoring for his Falstad. Good work. Does need to be a little bit careful. Nice haymaker there after the Stormbolt to just keep himself safe from Newb's stuns. He takes the minigum, but without the follow-up CC, he's able to get out just fine. And yeah, we're going to see a keep wall go down. That's, you know, it's at least something. It's what you... It's always, once the keep wall's down, I think that's kind of the point where you have a win option in the late game. You know, if you wipe the other team or get at least, 4 kills, then that 60 seconds is normally about enough to walk down, up to the keep, kill the keep, walk to the core, kill the core. So it looks like we're going to see a little bit of switch up in the lanes. Dahaka is actually now going with under Newb Management, as Riptire is going to... Looks like they were looking for an engage, but instead it's just going to be used to help clear out the Bruiser camp a little bit. I actually, I don't hate putting the Falstad up against the ETC. He's going to do a better job in that 1v1, a little bit more escapable than the Dahaka. And the Drag is another really good tool, even in the 4-man, for trying to find picks of their own. For now, though, we're going to take a break here. Look at the talents. I haven't looked at them in forever. I always forget about this button. Nothing too interesting. Haymaker, if you know Schumann, you know he loves making hay. That man's basically a baker. Ooh. Got a good stun into a tongue, but the CC counter engage there from Liddell to get things out. We do have the Dwarf launch and the heavy impact with the Haymaker to really help set those up. Of course, the Mosh Pit that was so effective earlier, as well as the Encore. Make sure he has it more often. Ooh, and that is the... Ooh. A lot of damage onto Ekeep. Not quite perfect. Follow-up on the CC will allow him to get out. But just putting on that pressure really is going to be helpful for UNM in making sure they get the most out of their turn-in. One thing I am noticing now, that's the stuff for Tychus. He's not too worried about spell damage, I guess. Doesn't care too much to slow people. He says, I'm just going to heal off my minigun. Fair enough. That's talent that you don't see too much. Because, I don't know, I'm not the highest on it. But it does, it's a certain amount of value that you're expected to get out of it. And if you think that's more than the spell armor, which, against an auto attack fall stat and a Junkrat might be the case, it can be worth it. Red team baiting the boss. You've got the time traps. Oops, I forget to unpress my drag key. Time traps set up there. Liddell's also keeping vision. They're gonna go immediately for Schumann on the Muradin. Ooh, Gust comes out, but so does the double rewind since level 18 is in. That's the level 20 talent tier for Chromie. Cocoon gonna be forced onto the Dahaka, who digs onto the backline. Stark now, the target, as he's gonna get chain CC'd. Root, very good on him. And that is another 25 gems down. Ooh, that's rough for gillyShark. With 25 gems down as well as your fall stat, you got no Gust. That's gonna be a boss for the side of under Newb Management, who are on their way to their 4th turn, just as close to it as gillyShark are to their 3rd. gillyShark just gonna split around the map, do what they can to get closer to level 20. That's gonna be very key in this defense, especially if we see a turn come in. Things like the wind tunnel, though, huge tools here for them to try and come back in the 2nd game and keep the series alive for a 3rd game. Checking out the level 20s, we do have Tour Bus for Chromage, so looking for the Mosh that lasts longer and can also move thanks to the extra power slide synergy there. We're going to see the Stuck in the Loop as we already saw. We've got the big red button for the Empowered Odin. We have Rewind, of course, for Newb, and Judgment Day, powering the Divine Reckoning there for Whitemane, and that's going to be a keep for the side of under Newb Management, unless gillyShark can save it. No. Oh, and huge time trap. Cancels the Gust out. That is, that feels a little bit rough if you're gillyShark, but they got some really nice value here in the bottom lane out of that time. The Dahaka pushing it up, going to get the majority of a keep. Like I said, it's opening win conditions. That's really the most important thing. If you're down on the map, find an opportunity to open a win condition, and then it's one fight. You win a coin flip at 1 point, you win the game. And with a macro team like this, you're able to put yourself in a position where you're able to look for favorable fights because you have the better map position. I mean, they've been behind since like level 10, and yet look at where they're getting their turn. All of their waves are coming in at pretty good spots. Gonna see Odin immediately popped. Let's real quick over the other 20s for gillyShark. Cannonball, Grand Slam, Controlled Chaos, the Wind Tunnel, and the Contagion. All pretty standard, all very powerful. Cannonball is like one of the most underrated. Ooh, as we're gonna see the huge jump into CC. Stuff is happening all over the place. Alan by default gets the wind tunnel into the haymaker, as now we've got Torbus gets canceled out. This is such a chaotic team fight. Stark on the Falstad in the back looking for silver. Everyone's gonna manage to survive, but I think that's actually gonna end up being good for gillyShark, because if you look in the top lane, their objective has been getting value during this time. So they're not gonna get the mid fort, but I mean, all things considered, the map is very close to even now. They're going to be able to get this mid fort pretty much whenever they want. They're trying to pull red team down. EQ in a little bit of a hairy spot. Going to be able to just walk away. Yeah, this fort is paper, right? It's not spawning Katas, which is the most important thing since the keep is down for gillyShark at the moment. But really, I'd say this game is about even at this point. the one advantage is going to be that UNM already has the option to go for a turn. Schumann gonna want to stall that, but that's dangerous for him. And so, you know what? We're gonna see what gillyShark has been doing all game. Ooh, E-keep. Able to dodge the root. Is he going to dig out? Gonna dodge the Nubarak. Alright. UNM gonna give up on the chase. And there's the mid-fort dab. Whoa, wind tunnel used in bot lane as well as the Riptire. We see the signs from Stukov. Big red button getting popped. Everyone's pressing buttons. And everyone walks away. Stuff got whiffed. It happens. But that is two very important ults. Three very important ults used. As no wind tunnel, that's a huge engage and disengage. Riptire, very important damage for this blue team that can struggle a little bit to kill people. And that's going to be enough to buy space for under Newb Management to turn alongside that that big red button, which just lasts so long that they were able to turn and start walking over toward the bruiser camp before it ended. Still, I mean, look at these waves. Top, pushed in. Bottom, pushed in. So mid, where there's no keep, is the best lane here for UNM. I'd still expect them to get some pretty good value. There's a chance if they play things right, they get this, just because it's already so low. As we're going to see another wind tunnel from the side by Stark, but these Fine Reckonings from Allen by default do so much, and with the stuck in the loop, that is going to be a false dead going down. Nubarak misses the rewind, unfortunate. Not able to catch Schumann as he jumps on out of there, and that's probably going to save the game for gillyShark, to be honest. Losing Schumann there would have been disastrous, and this is the hard thing with the Gust plays, is when you're against a team like this that has so much to lock you down, if you don't get the perfect Gust, you're putting yourself in a pretty bad space, especially if you barrel roll in to get into that Gust position. And man, that CC chain is so dangerous from under Newb Management. Putting a ton of damage onto E-keep on the Dahaka. Webweaver in the bottom. Gonna get really good damage on this keep if gillyShark doesn't respond. As they are now down to just the one. At about 20% health. And already waiting at the boss pit is UNM. They're gonna pop everything, try and make sure that they get that. I think this boss is gone. The question is going to be if, with Wind Tunnel, gillyShark can defend it. I think they can, but they're going to have to play it smart. Ooh, E-keep gets pulled back into the boss stun, and that is a huge kill in the favor of UNM. This boss looking like it might end the game, as it is very high health. A Chromage looking for the flank from the mid lane down here. And I hate to say it, I think this might be lights out for gillyShark. You know, first series loss potentially of the season. They're looking for kills. That's what they need to do. Schumann trying to distract as much as possible. A really good flailing swipe to save Schumann. As everything's starting to get low, 10 seconds left on that wind tunnel. If they can get it, that's... Ooh! Schumann unfortunately drops into the mosh pit. And with that, we're going to see the end of our set here as under Newb Management finishes it off. Just some really, really good picks coming in both games, allowing them to take the wins in two maps where they started off, you know, struggling and, you know, or maybe playing an uphill battle, at least on the macro game, the whole time. Alright, let me go ahead and see if one of them wants to do an interview. To get everything set up. Whoa. balance there. We'll go ahead and take it back.
Hello.
Hello, Liddell. How are you feeling after a hard-fought but still pretty convincing 2-0 win?
Yeah, a little sweaty, but mostly good. Mostly good. It's been a good start to the season for us.
Yeah, so you guys we're sitting at joint first. I think this now will put you in first for sure until we see if the other team sharing it gets a 2-0 in their next set. So are you feeling like you're going to hold that position through the season, or how's it looking?
To be honest, I don't know. I mean, we have some new roster players and some new well, not new positions, but one of us is only on the second season of this role. So we honestly, I didn't have any expectations necessarily going into the season, but I was hoping we'd be near the top of the standings, and that's what's proving true so far. But it's a long season, and there's lots of time to fall off and throw some games away. So you never know what happens.
Definitely. So coming into the match, I know in the talk about the maps, it sounded like you had a plan because when they said that they wanted first pick, you kind of laughed and then you went for Braxis. So what was the plan there? The thought behind that?
Well, I honestly just laughed because I've lost every coin toss this season so far, and so getting the option I finally wanted was just a unique experience for me. But I honestly, so far, scouting this season has turned up a lot of team fighty teams, and this is our first macro team. So we were honestly just excited to be able to go to some of the team fight maps we've been avoiding so far this season, and in Braxis and then Spiders. They banned BOE because obviously that's like the #1 team fight map. But so that was kind of, it wasn't necessarily a full out plan to go to Braxis, but it was like, okay, let's get some brawly maps now that we have map pick. Was kind of the plan.
Definitely. So looking at that Braxis, you went for a Zagara offlane. So tell me a little bit about that. Is that something you've practiced, or was that spur of the moment kind of inspiration? Because there were some crazy mods that game.
Yeah, you know what? We've done a little bit of Zag in practice, and I think one game this season we did offlane Zag on Sky Temple. So we've definitely done it before, but in general, since I used to be an offlaner, I mostly give offlane picks to my offlaner. So that's the Zag pick there was all Chromage. And honestly, I was a little doubtful because we were on the back foot down 2 forts.
Right.
But just because with last pick you want to be able to hold top traditionally, and so I was in my normal snippy mood when we're behind on the map, and I was going, I don't know about this, and maybe we'll talk about this after draft. And then Krobich proved me completely wrong by just hitting like game winning Moz, and then the Zag was so useful in our final push because I felt like we just melted core with like triple backline, just being able to artillery it to death. So yeah, all credit to that win and that pick to Chromage, our offlaner.
Yeah, love to see it. So talking a little bit more about that, I think in both games we saw a kind of consistent pattern where, surprisingly, even though you had the pick comp, you were kind of struggling a bit early, and then you were able to scale into it, and especially post 10, start finding stuff and getting your footing in the game. So what were you looking for in both those games that let you turn it around, or what do you think helped there?
Honestly, I think the first kill we got just kind of I was playing very cautious, and honestly, we got our ass kicked a ton early games, and that's probably on me as the shot caller. I think most of our games this season, you would probably say we've been losing pre-7, maybe even pre-10. But honestly, we just kind of hit a stun chain on Murden, and he kind of popped, and kind of like a light went off in my head, like, oh, maybe I could have been playing way more aggressive so far this game. And 10s only helped with that. I think we definitely had the better level 10s between the two teams. Minus, I mean, Gus is arguably so good that it trumps everything, maybe. But in general, for the rest of the heroes, I think we had better 10s. So a mix of that, seeing that we could be aggressive, and then having level 10s just meant, okay, we're never going to win a macro against this team that we built versus their team. So we might as well just look for constant fights and see if that turns us an advantage, which is kind of what we look for.
Yeah, definitely, and it worked out. It worked out. I think you did a great job at finding team fights in positions where you were down on macro, which is a incredibly difficult thing to do. So, great job there. I always love seeing matchups like this where it's really a clash of two very distinct and different styles. You know, the macro team versus the team fight team. But I'll let you go ahead and get on out of here. Floor is yours for any shout outs.
Yeah, so I don't know if you've been around this long, Lazy Hydra, but this almost felt like a throwback comp just to my old team on Tiny Dances, where we used to run double tank like almost exclusively. So this felt like a bit of a nice throwback to that, like 10 seasons ago or whatever. As far as shout outs, I always shout out the casters. The casting community is what's made NGS almost doubled the value of what NGS has provided. So obviously thank you and all the other casters. And then shout out for the team for coming together, having a really great attitude and a great start to the season. And then all of our friends and family that put up with us having nerdy nights where we play esports, amateur esports for fun. So those are my shout outs. And I hope you cast another game this season.
We'll see what happens. Yeah. It was
Go ahead. Yeah.
I was gonna say it was a good one to come out of retirement for. It felt good. Aside from pressing all the wrong buttons all the time, but we got there in the end.
Yeah, no, this was a good one to cast because I think this is like a 5th or 6th matchup against gillyShark all time. So
yeah, and you've never. So that was something interesting I saw. I'm not gonna hold you much longer, but you guys have never lost a set in NGS history that I guess is kept on the site against gillyShark. You're 5-0 now.
Oh, I don't like hearing that. That's pressure, especially if they become
you gotta make it 6-0
matchup.
next season now, or in playoffs. All right.
The playoffs is where you don't want that unbeaten record because I feel like that's where those come apart. So I'm gonna say it now. I hope we don't get them in the playoffs now.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens. I'll keep my eyes on the playoffs, and if that matchup happens, maybe we'll see if I snag that. But you have a great night, Liddell. Thank you so much.
Cheers. Yeah, cheers. See ya.
All right. And that's that. First cast back. Fun games. I love seeing macro. Like that was not gassing him up or anything. My favorite kind of game is when you see that macro comp against that team fight comp. And I mean, whichever comp wins, it's because they played their playstyle better most of the time. And that's just always really fun to see. Two teams that also, have been around for a while. I've known for a while. So lots of fun. Thanks everyone for coming out. That's it for the night. I gotta upload this to YouTube, I think now. I haven't done the postcast in 5 seasons either.